So, one thing I will tell you about throughout my homeless journey is that I've had to make basically every bad situation I had to try and make that as good as possible. Like, for example, my first example is like even though I had to move out of my apartment, the thing I had to say was like, even if I have to move out, I what's the next step? I have to make sure that I move out before a certain date to make sure that there's no eviction on my record. And after that, even though I was going to be staying at a homeless shelter, I would still need to make sure I get a job as soon as possible so that I could get special privileges like sleeping in late or being allowed to come into the shelter after hours. And then even though even if I wasn't going to get like 40 hours a week, I needed to still make sure I kept that job because homeless services and many other services just want to make sure you have a job. Um, yeah, I need to make sure I have a job so that all the places that I run back and forth will at least acknowledge that I have some income that they respect. And I want to talk about some volunteering that I did today. There was a company that came in where like it was a bunch of engineers, and the funny thing is, I'm going off the script. I don't have this part written down, but like, you know how many people got impressed when I told them You know how many people got impressed when I told people that when I go to college I plan to be an electrical engineer, and then those people are actually doing it, like actively working as an engineer. And it's like my inner hater sort of awakens a little bit, and I have to sort of like they'll be like, so are you guys still planning for Melissa's wedding? It should be pretty cheap, right? Only $18,000. Or are you getting that car for? It should cost just a little bit, $8,000. It's like something crazy. I'm like, shut up, bro. We get it. And it's like I'm nearly like double rolling my eyes, like rolling outside and inside my eyelids. And then there was one guy who was like this one white guy who was like taller, and he had like a noticeable amount of muscle, and he had like a university, like one of those sports jackets with like a university, and he was from there. And I was like, man, this sucks. Like, and like you see different men and just like women whose it seems like their life is just so much better than yours financially. Because I'll tell you what, like regardless of how happy you are, if two people are in completely different realms financially, the person who has far more money is automatically living a way better life, in my opinion. Oh shit, I can actually rest my feet underneath this thing. But these chairs barely have a back to them. But yeah, I can rest my feet right there. But either way, um, and it's like, man, I'm like not well, definitely not 6 foot, and then like I'm homeless, and then I'm like socially awkward, and then um, well, not noticeably muscular, at least not noticeably, but and but the problem is like I'm sure like, man, it's like you want to live in somebody else's shoes because it looks like their life is better, especially when they're like talking about casually doing this, like hey, let me I'm gonna after this I'm gonna go home to my 4 bedroom house that I paid down. Like, shut up, bro. Like, what the fuck? And it sounds like thunder is striking, but that's just like sounds of the gym or something, regular sounds. And I'm gonna be out of here in an hour and 30 minutes. And it's like I'm making $12 an hour struggling to get hours, and like you're going around saying, hey, I'm not planning. Look at me. Like all the people who volunteered who came in today from that company, they probably have like a Ford outside. They all either have a Ford Focus or like a Mazda 6 or like what's a Nissan Altima or a Hyundai Sonata, right? Or a Hyundai Elantra, one of those. I know one guy who said Hyundai Cilantro, almost like cilantro, the seasoning, the garnish. And I'm over here with no cars, working next to these people, and one of the older guys was like, "Are you a golfer?" And the younger guy that I was talking about was like, "No, not yet." And then the older guy was like, "Well, if you get to know so and so, he's going to turn you into a golfer or something like that." And it's like, that's such a rich old man hobby. It's like, and like I'm over here with no car, walking everywhere, and then like my job that already pays crap, $12 an hour in 2025. I'm struggling to get hours there because they cut my hours, and I'm wondering when trading is going to work out. So it's like it's about time that something worked out, because I'm over here. Wow, I love breaking hearts. That's what it says on her butt, and she's wearing sweatpants, and it's her ass is not very big, but it is jiggling. It is jiggling, so I don't know if she's wearing whatever. I don't know what is going on with some of these women. There was one time, I think last week, I saw her in that room today, but last week I believe I was sitting in front of that room, and then there was this one girl who was in there who walked out and had the shortest shorts possible, like a wedgie, and it was black, some black booty shorts. And it was this white girl, and she had, the funny thing is, she had a hoodie. Like, are you trying to be hot or cold? And then I noticed out the corner of my eye, she walked past me, and then like turned around to look at me to see if I was looking. I'm like, I already noticed, but like, what the hell? I wasn't looking at her at that point. So, there's this little room up at the front where they do classes, I suppose. But the funny thing is, like, you want to be other people. It's like, I feel like 1/5 of like the bullshit that I have to go through is like I'm over here waiting for Section 8 to reach back out to me. I'm waiting for them to help me get a place, and I have to, man, I have to wait for. I already did the application and sent 4 pay stubs, but now I have to send 4 more pay stubs because my pay is going to be much lower, and I don't want to do the application with them thinking I make $800 a month. They need to know that I'm only going to make about $600 a month, about $150 a week. So I'm waiting for Section 8. They're probably dragging their feet or have a long waiting list, long line, or both. I know it's a lot. Told me to my face that there was about 30 people, but the good thing is they're trying to get people in quickly. So, yeah, the thing about it is, like, it's kind of like, I feel like just like 20% of like the bullshit I have to go through, most people, if you took 20% of my nonsense and just spread it out into 5 different lifetimes, all 5 of those lives would be moderately difficult, probably. But then I had to like remind myself, like, you want to be that guy, but like the universe is showing you so many good things. Like I got free food today. Like all the food I got today was free. So for you to turn around and say and scream about, but look at his life, look at her life, look at their life. They have a car. I don't want to be grateful. Look at that person's life. Look at that person. But there's actually like, I could sit here and be like, nobody wants to be in my position. I'm jealous of that person because they're doing better than me. Nobody wants to be me. But the thing is, a lot of people would take my position. They would be where I am. You know, even as a homeless person, I'm walking around with one of the technological marvels of the world. And the ability, I did not trade today, but the ability to make money from my phone, which will one day turn into full-time income. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. But people say don't shit where you eat. There was, at my actual job where I get paid, there was some kid trying to tell me about how he was dating a coworker. I was like, nah. And then he was like, you know, you can have fun, right? It's not a crime. But then for me personally, the reason why I didn't entertain that discussion is because I don't talk about coworkers screwing around. Me personally. I that's one of the conversations I just don't engage with. So, um, what's it called? I lost my train of thought. No, but the funny thing is, like at the gym or something like that, I might entertain like someone who's attractive, especially like even a few days ago. I think I uploaded it already when the lady at the front desk complimented my headphones. She was like a bigger like white woman, but didn't look bad or anything. But yeah, I was walking out and I just took my headphones off and she said something. So like, there's people like that who will like talk to you first. So um, I usually don't do this on Tuesday. On Tuesday, no, today's Monday. But yeah, there you go. There's your perfect 11 minutes. Oh crap! You know what? I actually forgot to mention that guy I was talking about that I like was like kind of jealous of. He actually like cut himself, and that was the first time I saw anybody cut themselves in that kitchen station or anywhere in that whole facility. And I was telling another lady that was my. She was like, I've seen many people get cut, so that was kind of interesting. He was over there like one of the staff was like wrapping his finger up with like a blue bandage that has like the bumps on the front or something and stuff like that. And like I was just like, "Oh, did you cut yourself?" He was like, "Yeah." And then I was like, hope you get well soon." And yeah, comfortable life, comfortable job, and it's just like that's something I want so badly. But yeah, um, and I guess the one thing I do have over him is my hairline because he was losing hair. But like everybody knows that there's lots of white guys who start losing hair early on, or just guys in general. But that tends to be like one of the like more common like similar things that are in common, like a demographic that loses hair early on. But yeah, that's it. Well, that's not really it. What I'm saying is that karma can have like funny ways of reminding you that you don't know what someone else is going through or will go through. You don't know how bad their day is or how bad their life is. Even though, again, having a lot more money, your life will be better, regardless of if a family member passed away, because that's going to happen to the poor person eventually.